All right, let's do some basic percent of change problems that have to do with some kind of quantity increasing. And percent of change is really an expression of the extent to which some number, some quantity has increased or decreased. In these problems, we're going to do increases. Um, e- Expressed as a percentage, a number out of 100. So, for example, looking at the first one, I used to have 12 pet gibbons. I love gibbons, by the way. They climb like crazy. YouTube gibbons. So you'll see what I'm talking about. So I used to have 12. Now I have 48. By how many has my quantity of pet gibbons increased? So, going from 12 to 48, that's an increase of 36 gibbons. But what would that be? What would that be as a percentage? By what percent has my number of pet gibbons increased? I wish, by the way. Actually, that'd be too many. A couple would be awesome. Anyway, so the percent of change, the basic idea is, um, here's how I would write it. The change in the quantity, that's not a very good delta. Change. Have you seen those triangles? They're deltas. That just means change. The change in the quantity over the original quantity. That's basically how you're going to set it up. So, I used to have 12 pet gibbons. Now I have 48. So what's my change? By how many has my has the number changed? So 48 minus 12 is 36. So this my number of pet gibbons has gone up by 36, right? So that's my change. That's delta. Okay. Well, what's the original number? The original number, I used to have 12 pet gibbons. So 12. Okay. So I should do 36 divided by 12. Um, which is 3. If you don't believe me, just, use the calculator, whatever you want to do. 3. Um, and then that'll be the decimal equivalent of the percentage. But to turn it actually into a percentage, what you do is you move the decimal place over 2, or you think of it as multiplying by 100. So that is 300%. My number of pet gibbons has increased by 300%. So let's try another couple. Just kind of get the swing of it here. Get it? Oh, wow, that was an awesome pun. I didn't even intend that. Swing like gibbons. Okay. The number of cupcakes has increased from 10 to 15. So by how much has the number of cupcakes changed? It's gone from 10 to 15. So my change is 5. It's gone up by 5, and I'll put a little plus there. When you do percent decrease, you'll have a negative number on top. So it's nice to just keep track of your signs. Just put a plus or a negative on top, just to help you keep track of whether it's a percent increase or percent decrease. We're doing all increase problems in this lesson, but good practice. Okay, so it's gone up by 5. So it's change over the original. What's the original number? The number of cupcakes has increased from 10 to 15. So the original number is 10. Okay. So I could do 5 divided by 10. Do it in your head or do it on your calculator. So you get 0.5 as the decimal. And then to turn it into a percentage, you just move the decimal over to the right. And put a 0 when there's an empty space there. So it's gone up. The number of cupcakes has gone up by 50%. In other words, 5 is 50% of 10. So if I were to start with 10, I would say increase this by 50%. Okay, so what's half of 10? That's 5. Add that to 10, and I get 15. Alright, let's try one more. The temperature has gone up by 15 degrees since this morning. This morning it was 20 degrees. So the temperature has gone up by 15. So what's my temperature now? It doesn't say, but I could easily calculate that. If it was 20 degrees this morning and it's gone up by 15 degrees, um, then it's now 35. But I don't even need to know that because all I need is the change, the amount of change over the original quantity. So the amount of change is 15 plus 15 degrees. Um, it says the temperature has gone up by 15 degrees. So the amount of change is it's gone up by 15. Okay, but what is that as a percentage, not as degrees? Okay, so this morning it was 20 degrees. So that's the original. So the change over the original. Um, Now I can divide these. I could reduce this fraction first to make it easier. I could take a 5 out of both those. So 15 out of 20 would be equivalent to 3 out of 4. You know, 20 divided by 5 is 4. 15 divided by 5 is 3. And then 3 divided by 4 is 0.75. If that's hard to see, just do it on the calculator. If you're allowed to use a calculator. If not, sorry. You can do it out by hand. Okay, so then to turn it into a percentage, we move the decimal 2 places to the right. So this percent increase of temperature would be 75%. Pretty dramatic, although that can happen in real life. I used to live in Kansas. Man, it would change like 50 degrees in one day, but that's Kansas. All right, so that's percent of change, looking at some basic types of increase problems.